Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The opinions of hosts and guests do not necessarily reflect the opinion of this network.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk only on Paranormal Experience Radio. Broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama. This is Ghost Talk with 187 PI. Sit back and prepare yourselves for an adventure into the paranormal world with host Shelly Robertson and 187 PI research team. Ghost Talk is broadcasting live from Ohio's most haunted jail. Learn about their ongoing research at the jail and abroad, investigation techniques, and their personal encounters. Here is your host of Ghost Talk and 187 PI founder, Shelly Robertson.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Ghost Talk Radio. With me is your host, Shelly Robertson. Tonight, I have a treat for y'all. You know, I don't normally have guests, only every once in a great while. And I guess it's because I want to have extraordinary people in the paranormal field that maybe you don't hear a lot about. And tonight, I have a special guest, and it's Melodie Wisniewski, and she has a paranormal team in Ohio. So everyone, welcome Melodie to the show. Hi, Melodie.
Hi.
How are you this evening?
Nervous.
No, don't be nervous. I mean, it's just like, you know, when we talk during the ghost hunts. Yeah, she has been to the jail several times. And first of all, let's tell everybody, like, why don't you tell everybody how you got into the paranormal?
That's actually very interesting how I got into it. I grew up with, my mom had, I believe she had psychic abilities, though she didn't want to talk about it. I would sit on the floor and she would point out in the carpet faces, and she would describe them in very great detail to where she would say, there's the man and he's got a hat and he's wearing a suit, and you know, she would describe his facial features, and then she would describe the person next to him, and this would go on for a while, and you could see everything she was saying. And then it would be several weeks later, and there would be either a horrible plane crash or a train derailment or a 20-car pileup. And when they would start showing the pictures of the victims from this horrible accident, it would be all these people that she had described in such great detail. And,
oh, wow.
And it as a child, I grew up with that. So as a teenager, when I started to have some, we'll say prophetic dreams, or I would think that I saw something or I felt something, and I would ask her about it, she would say, oh, we don't talk about that, you know, that's, just forget about it, you don't want to know about those kind of things. And it took me a long time before I finally met the right people who made me feel comfortable about talking about my experiences,
right?
Who helped me who nurtured me and helped me to grow and see that it's a blessing to have these abilities, and that we all have some type of ability. It's just what brings it out, what triggers it for you. And these people have really helped me to grow. And this is how I got into the paranormal. The other part of it was, I have twin daughters, and for their high school graduation, we had asked them, do you want to party? Do you want to go to Six Flags Great America with your friends? You know, what do you want to do? And we had been watching Ghost Adventures and Taps and some of the different shows. And so they looked at each other, and they looked at my husband and I and said, we want to go on an overnight at Waverly Hills.
Wow.
So that was what we did for their high school graduation, is we went on our first overnight as a family to Waverly Hills.
Oh my goodness, that's a place to go for your very first one.
And if that doesn't make you come back excited and wanting to be a part of a group, because we were the only family there, just the four of us. Everybody else that was there that night were groups, paranormal groups. And so we came back and said we really wanted to be a part of a group. And at the time we were living in Michiana, Indiana, which is near South Bend. And we had looked everywhere and couldn't find a group close to us. Well, there was a group, but it wasn't at that time meant for us to meet them. It took about another year of searching, trying to find a group. And in the meantime, I stumbled upon an opportunity. We had gone to C2E2 in Chicago, which is the comic book convention. It's I think it's a comic and something exposition.
Okay.
Anyway, it's kind of like Comic-Con. And we went to that and had the opportunity to meet Ryan Buell and Sergey, and I'm going to mess his name up, Perevesnes from Paranormal State.
Right.
And I signed up to be part of his group, which was called PRS. And it was an online group. And we got an invitation to investigate with them at St. Albans in Virginia.
Nice.
And so after going and spending a weekend there with Ryan and Sergey and Elfie Music and meeting some amazing people there, again, all the people that were there were part of groups, of different paranormal clubs and groups. And it's just my husband and I. And we met quite a few people, and again, came back with this fever that we have to find a group to be a part of, that we just really want that connection. And that was when we stumbled upon Michiana Paranormal Investigations, MPI. And they took us under their wing and said, we'll help you. We'll show you what it's like to be investigators and be a part of this paranormal world. It was a great experience, and it still is a great experience, because the lead investigators, the ones who started the group, are a former police officer and a former police dispatch operator. So they went in with not looking at the paranormal as, let's go find ghosts. They both have belief, but they're skeptics. So they
and not meaning to cut you off, but that is Rick. Is that Rick that I met?
That is Jeff Price.
Jeff.
Yep, Jeff Price and Liz
Sorry,
Brown.
Jeff. Sorry, Jeff. I called him Rick. Okay, all right.
Yes, and Jeff and Liz, and through them, again, I met some great people through them. We've had some amazing experiences, not only investigating businesses that have contacted them for help, but also a lot of residential. And with each one, I learned something new about myself. I learned something new about how to investigate. I learned something new about what is out there beyond when we take our last breath.
So to date, okay, so you've been with this group now going on, what, 8 years?
Yeah.
What would you say has been your most maybe profound experience that you've had so far?
I would say there would be two experiences for me with the group. One was an investigation at the State Theater in South Bend, and when we were setting up before we even started investigating, I was upstairs and helping with the camera angles. And Jeff and one of the new investigators was down in the basement. And I try to, when I go into investigation, I always ask, don't tell me anything ahead of time. I want to see if what I pick up I can validate for myself, and I can also validate for the other investigators and for the people that we're working for, making sure that, it all coincides.
No contamination and such. Yes.
Absolutely. And so I had not gone through the complete walkthrough of the building, but they had heard when they did their walkthrough that there had been an incident down in this one corner of the basement. And so Jeff was putting the camera up facing that corner. And I'm on the walkie-talkie and telling him, no, he needs to turn it the other way. And he's like, no, it has to go this way. I said, would you just trust me? It has to go the other way. You have to turn the camera the other way. And I could tell, he's talking to the other investigator, but I can't hear them because they're not on the radio, but I could tell he is not happy that I'm making him turn the camera the other way.
Right.
Well, later on in the evening, we are down and we are investigating in that basement, in that one area where they had all heard there was an incident and nothing was happening. I mean, it didn't even really, it felt a little creepy, but it wasn't anything big. And then we moved over to the other corner. And as soon as we got over there, there was an instant temperature drop. Our meters started going off. Everybody was getting nauseous. And one of our investigators got scratched. And
wow.
When we got upstairs, and Jeff actually got sick, he got really nauseous. And when we got upstairs, Jeff said, how did you know? I said, I have no idea. And he said, you had to have known because you made me turn that camera. So we got it all filmed. You made me turn that camera beforehand, and you had not even been down in the basement. I said, I don't know, Jeff. I just knew. And that was one. The other part was in a different area of the building. We were walking along and something hit my hand hard enough that my flashlight flew out across the room, hit the wall.
Wow.
And I was very, very shook up. I kind of had to take a few minutes and regroup because it really just shook me to the core to know that there was something that powerful down in that basement.
Oh, wow. See, and that I've not experienced anything forceful towards me like that. So I would probably be pretty startled myself.
It definitely does shake you up. It makes you angry that there's something out there like that, because I think we all want to believe that there is nothing negative out there, that there are good spirits, that even though they may not have crossed over, that they're lost and they're looking for help and they're looking for somebody to care about them in the afterworld. So you don't want to believe that there's negative energy out there, but apparently there is.
Right, and it can even be just, somebody being grumpy and disgruntled. You know what I mean? It's
right.
You never fully know the circumstance, and I think that's one of the things that we're all trying to find out exactly.
Yeah.
And it's it's a process. Would you not agree?
Oh, yes, definitely.
I mean, I can be working on the same pinch of information and go on for months and be plugging away, and it can be months in between before I get any kind of another piece of whatever it is I'm inquiring of the spirits. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And they give it up when they feel like giving it up. And
Exactly. It has to be on their time frame when they're ready for you to know what you need to know.
Yes, and I'm telling you, it's exhausting sometimes. Like, when did you first figure out? Because let me tell you, what's been so impressive to me, not only are you and Rob so helpful and good at investigating and contributing to the entire cause of it all. When did you figure out that you had your special gifts? Because let me tell you, you have gotten names that at the jail, that one in particular I'd been trying to get for 5 years. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they have to come back because there's some more here. You know?
Yes.
So when did you realize that you had that kind of, I'm going to call it kind of a telepathy?
It's, I think you're
with
on
the spirits, you know?
I think you're on the right path. I had actually, I had met, I've had 2 psychic mediums in my time with investigating that. I think both of them have had a profound effect on me. Through MPI, we had a psychic medium by the name of Rick Bunch that he was phenomenal in coaching me and giving me encouragement and questioning me when I would sense something that I wasn't sure. He would let's talk through it. What are you feeling? What do you think you're feeling? Are you hearing anything? Are you sensing anything? Talk to me. And so that was very helpful to have someone, a mentor like that. And then I stumbled upon another psychic medium, actually at a psychic, well, it was at like a, we'll say a paranormal fair.
Okay.
And his name is C.B. Bork, and he's out of Indiana. And he's one it was kind of like, I just took a chance. I'm just going to sit down and talk to this person. Other than Rick, I've never talked to a psychic medium. I've never, opened myself up like that. And I think because I'm still questioning what is my purpose? What am I doing? What is this that I have? And he knew nothing about me other than just sitting at a table with me. And he started telling me that, as he described it, he said, you're like a lighthouse. He said, you have this big energy field around you that attracts not only people in, living spirits, but it tracks in the other energy around you. And he said, you just be open to it, listen to whatever you hear. And he said, you will find that you will be given signs that it may sound odd to you, but it's not for you to judge. It's for you to pass on the information. So never doubt what you get, just share it. It'll mean something to someone else. And
wow.
After he said that, the funny thing is I was listening to him talk, and in my head I'm thinking, how many times I've had that experience where I've just, all of a sudden, something pops into my head that means absolutely nothing to me, but I guess I have to know it for some reason. And it's kind of like the incident with Jeff down in the basement that I just knew. I just knew that camera had to be that certain way. And when the experiences I've had at the jail have been that same way, it's just like all of a sudden I hear a voice inside my head that says a name or says something that it may not mean something to me, but I feel like I have to tell you because hopefully it'll mean something to you.
And I gotta stop right here. We need to go to a short break, and we will be right back after this short break. You're listening to Ghost Talk Radio on WBHM-DB, Birmingham, Alabama.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, come on. I'm Southern, but... Nope. That'll do. Hello. I am Kat Hobson, host of Paranormal Experience here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. I enjoy having guests from all areas of the paranormal, from ghosts to ufology to cryptids and beyond. You'll find some of the best researchers in their fields bringing you some great information. Join me on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 p. Eastern here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk only on Paranormal Experience Radio. Broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama. Since 1948, Fate Magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting. You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
This is Jason Bland, host of Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup, where we stream live as a webcast every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern, with guests who will blow your mind. Live ghost box sessions where you can call into the show to see if the spirits will talk to you, and the world wide web of weird with the latest in paranormal news and evidence. We're bringing the weird every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow and subscribe.
Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 23 minutes after the hour.
Back to Ghost Talk Radio. With me is your host, Shelly Robertson. And tonight, I have Melodie on the show with me. And this is so interesting on how she got into the paranormal. And we're going to get into some more information here in just a little bit. I first want to say, if anyone out there just tuned in and you missed the first part of the show, no worries, folks. You can catch the full show archive on Spreaker, iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio. I believe we're on Deezer, Spotify. I'll tell you what, I think we're just about everywhere that you probably have a subscription to. So just tune in and catch the full show archive at your leisure. And if anyone has any questions, of course, You can jump in the Spreaker chat or join me in the live chat at WBHM-DB.com, and you can ask us any questions you might have this evening. So prior to the break, I was talking to Melodie about when and how she figured out she has her connection, her psychic connection with the spirits, and exactly, Melodie, how does the information come to you? What do you do, and how does it come to you?
I think the biggest thing is what I've learned in the last, I'm going to say the last 2 years. Part of it is from watching some of the different paranormal shows on TV. Some of it is going back to things I learned when we went to St. Albans with Ryan and Sergey. Some of the experiments that they taught us there, I'm actually starting to use some of that stuff now in my investigating. And one of the things that I try to do before we go on an investigation, or actually while we're on our way to the place, wherever it is we're going to be, whether it's going to be a residential or if it's going to be an actual, we'll say business or popular place.
Right.
I do kind of my own little form of meditation, and I'll put on headphones and a blindfold, and I just keep repeating to myself, I'm open and I'm here to listen. And I just keep saying that to myself, and whatever comes to mind, I when I'm done doing my little session, I'll write it down so I don't forget. Right. And it can be any kind of, it can be a picture, it can be a word. I've had instances that when I've finished my little meditation, I'll turn on the radio, and like the first 3 songs that come on, if I really look at either the titles of the songs or maybe there's a phrase that comes out of the songs, I'm getting messages through that as well.
Oh, even through the radio.
Yes.
That's interesting. And I hadn't really had a chance prior to tonight to really talk to you in depth about your ability, and I didn't realize you were also getting visuals.
Yes. In fact, the not the last time that we came to the jail, but the time before that, the night that we were coming for, when you had Doogie and Jason from the Fearless Ones, when we were on our way to the jail that night, I was doing my thing in the car, and my husband had the radio on, so he's listening to the radio, and I took my headphones off, and I said, wow, that was really weird. And he said, well, what? And I said, in my head, I saw a pack of lions. I guess you would say a pride of lions. And as soon as I said that, the song that was on the radio was The Pride by Five Finger Death Punch, and it suddenly got louder all by itself. And my husband and I both kind of look at each other, and he's like, you need to pay attention. There's something in this song that you need to pay attention to. And so we listened to the song, and when it finished, he said, wait a minute, you said Pride of Lions. And I said, yeah. I said, all I could think of is, again, from the different things that I've learned, is a lion could be a Leo, and it could be someone who's a Leo, or it could be the time span for a Leo, which would be July 21st through August 20th. So it could be a date. It could be something that happened during that date frame or that time frame. And he looks at me and he says, you're not catching it. And I said, well, what? And he said, Leo, a Leo. It's a law enforcement officer. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even put it together. So that's that is the kind of things that I get. Sometimes I get pictures, sometimes I get words, phrases, songs. When the couple of names that I've gotten when we've been at the jail, it's been the just sitting in a room and just listening to what's going on around. Maybe other people are talking. Maybe it's just listening to the sounds of the jail. But what I've gotten is very softly in my ear, almost like in my head, someone speaking the name, and they're saying it very clearly and very distinctly so that I can understand what they're saying. The first time that ever happened to me, it was very, very unnerving because I actually looked around like, who just said that? And now I'm actually...
Did you hear it by your ear?
Yes.
Okay.
Almost like someone's whispering right in my ear.
Okay.
And both of the actually all three of the names that I've gotten at the jail have been that way. It's just like someone standing right next to me whispering in my ear.
So is it a male or female voice or?
Wow, that's a really good question because I know I think it's been a female voice. I think all three times it's been a female.
Wow. Okay, so but the very first name that you got was the name Ruby at the jail, and that has been verified by the spirits on several occasions now. And I do believe I call her Miss Lady because she would never give me her name. Like, she would talk to us and communicate, and when I ask her then for her name, and she'd clam up and not say nothing more. So I don't know why she would never give me her name, but I've been trying to get that lady's name for 5 years. And I'm like, when you got that name, and then the next time I was doing sessions and I got the verification, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just fantastic.
Well, it was pretty exciting for me too, because you validated it for me that I wasn't just, again, I'm still so new to this, even though I've been doing this for several years. I feel like every time I have an experience, it's all brand new. And so when you said that you had validation and that you found information on it, it validated me that, okay, good. I really did feel something. I really did hear something. I wasn't just imagining it. So I love to hear that. I love to get the feedback from people afterwards, even if it's several weeks later after we do an investigation. It's nice to have somebody come back and say, hey, by the way, when you said you saw this, or you said you felt this is what we got, or this is what we found out. And that just, it's really validating to me.
Let me tell you that very next name that you got of a little boy named Nathan, that's been validated too. And here is something that I find most interesting about that. When Chris Fleming came to the jail a couple of weeks back, he got that name too. And then the spirits were talking about Nathan over the portal as well. Awesome. Yes, so I'm now in the process of trying to figure out who this little boy is, because I did not know he was there. So I'm like, okay, that's one I didn't even know was here. So I envy those with gifts like you. Like, I can hear them talk if they want me to hear them talk, right?
Right.
And I can feel when go in areas, I can feel when someone's there, but there's a handful of the spirits who have already introduced themselves and talk to me all the time, right? So I don't have that connection like you have. I can only do it with living people. Like I might look at somebody or hear their name or something and boosh, everything about their whole life flashes. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's exciting though.
Yeah,
Scary.
it's with the living. I mean, I wish I had it. And I even said this during the presentation with Chris because I was so excited that he was there. And when Garrett comes, I get excited when Garrett's there because I don't have that skill. So it's fascinating to me. And like when Chris was there and I said, and I get the all-knowing with the living, and I don't get it from the dead. And two people in the room, Chris and another person, there was a spirit, a man in the Sally Bay with us. And Chris said, they said we're not dead. And I'm like, okay, I don't get it with our spirit friends.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I could get that by now, I think I could have so much stuff solved up there. So I'm envious, really, truly. I have a different gift, and I wish I had y'all's gift. Like, okay, so I brought you into the office last weekend when you were at the jail for
Yes.
Halloween night. And do you know, Garrett is also psychic with the spirits.
Mm-hmm.
And I had you. I didn't even tell him. I just said what I said to you. I want to show you something in the office, and you just tell me. And then I pointed out the doll to you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even point the doll out to Garrett.
Okay.
And he was just like, oh, he put his arm up. He's like, nope. And I said, the doll? He's like, absolutely. Is that what you wanted to show me? I said, it is. And so he was telling me a male attachment to the doll, right?
Correct.
So then it's when I was like, let me see what Melodie gets from this doll, because I see the doll watching, right? Live watching.
Yes.
But I don't know what's attached. You know what I mean?
Correct.
It's not talking to me. It's watching me. So I showed it to Garrett, then I showed it to you, and you got nearly the same thing that he got about that doll.
Yes.
And I was like, just fabulous. Okay, so my feeling, I knew, I didn't know, when we got that doll from a antique shop when Vincent was out of town somewhere out south, and he brought the doll home, and I didn't really feel anything with her here at the house until I took her to the jail. And that's when I noticed that her eyes shift. She actually watches. And when I noticed that, I had other people pay attention to her. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And they're creeped out by her because her eyes shift. And I'm like, well, I don't know what's attached to her, but see, she was originally purchased for Audrey's room, but something inside me said, I can't take her up there until Vincent can develop something to tether her or tie her down. Because I don't know, there's some kind of feeling I don't want her to get broken.
Right.
And I don't know why I had that feeling. So she's been in the office for she's been in the office for a year, because we're always working on other things, and Vincent just hasn't got around to fixing her up there somewhere. But I don't know, since it's a male attachment, if it'll be welcomed well, and maybe that's why I got the feeling that it needed to be strapped down. Because, my other doll that's up there in the rocker, I had no qualms about that. No, did you get any feelings on that doll?
No. And my one suggestion would be, if you're going to take that doll upstairs, I wouldn't introduce it to Audrey's room yet. I may start with the sheriff and see if you get any reaction from him before you put that in her room.
Well, that's what Garrett said. Garrett said, I don't think it's going to go well if you put that in Audrey's room. So, and for all you listeners out there, Audrey, I know you've heard us talk about him before, but if some new people are tuning in, Audrey is a little girl spirit that's at the jail that we would catch hiding in the attic, and the sheriff kind of looks over her. And one of the rooms back in the day, there's a communication room and there's an evidence room, and those were bedrooms way back. And after 1977, when the sheriffs no longer lived in the building with their families, that's when it got turned into an evidence room and then a communication room. The kitchen is still up there and intact. And so I turned the one room back into a bedroom and have designated that as Audrey's space. So, and she's in there a lot. So, so he said the same thing. He said, I don't think I would take that to Audrey's room. But now that both of you were telling me, it might not be a welcoming thing to take it up there if there's a male attachment to it,
Correct.
And it's funny how I got the feeling that it would get broken, but I didn't know what was attached. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that is quite interesting for me. And with that, folks, we have to take a short break. And we'll be back after this short message. You are listening to Ghost Talk Radio on WBHM-DB out of Birmingham, Alabama.
You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, come on. I'm Southern, but... nope. That'll do. Hello. I am Kat Hobson, host of Paranormal Experience here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. I enjoy having guests from all areas of the paranormal, from ghosts to ufology to cryptids and beyond. You'll find some of the best researchers in their fields bringing you some great information. Join me on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 p. Eastern here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
This is Jason Bland, host of Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup, where we stream live as a webcast every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern, with guests who will blow your mind. Live ghost box sessions where you can call into the show to see if the spirits will talk to you, and the World Wide Web of Weird with the latest in paranormal news and evidence. We're bringing the weird every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow and subscribe.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk only on Paranormal Experience Radio. Broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 45 minutes after the hour.
Welcome back to Ghost Talk Radio. With me is your host, Shelly Robertson. And tonight, I've got Melodie here with me from Michiana Paranormal. And she is so interesting and has a lot of great gifts and has been so helpful in my neck of the woods in the paranormal field. I just am thrilled to have you on the show tonight.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be part of your show.
And so we were talking about some of her abilities, and she's gotten the very last time she also got a name of Iris, and I haven't had a chance to talk with the spirits about Iris yet, to see if they give me any insights, but I'm excited to find out.
Me too.
I am so excited. I mean, so the things just come to you whereas I get, and it startles me every time it happens, and I'm not scared of them. As a matter of fact, when they talk to me, some of their answers, they make me laugh and chuckle because it's thrilling. It's thrilling for me to know that they're intelligent and they are conversating with.
Exactly.
But when the disembodied voices happen in my ear, it does startle me. And I do get that quite often, especially from the sheriff himself. I talk a lot with the sheriff. We're pals. I tell him, I'm like, well, you are, over all the spirits and stuff, and I'll keep the living in check. That's what I tell him.
Good choice.
And it, I don't know, it seems to work out. And one thing that I found a little disturbing was, were you in the room when we asked, I think Tobe might have asked, somebody asked who was going to win the election, and
yes,
the sheriff pipes up, and prior to the show, I was trying to locate that clip because I was going to play it for everybody, and just watch the Facebook page, just whatever, because I will post it, if not tonight, maybe tomorrow. But it was not what I wanted to hear, but but it was clear and it was loud when we asked who was going to win the election.
And he confirmed it. He said it twice.
Yes, he said Biden was going to win. And I was like, no. But hey, so, I mean, look at what it looks like right now. I mean, I don't know. They are so, yeah, Lori Dorsey's in chat. She's saying she was there, and she was there too, because we both were like, looked at each other. No. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that can't be right. But maybe they are, so I need to maybe talk to them a little more extensively about some lottery numbers or something.
Well, I've heard from several different we'll say people of the know that say that in the spirit world there are no time frames. They don't know, like tomorrow, next week, next month, last week. They don't know time frames. Their time is linear, and so they could be in essence living 6 years from now, and they know who's going to win 6 years from now. So why not use their ability and see, hey, what kind of information can you guys share with us? What can you tell us about who's going to win an election, or who's going to be the next pope, or who's going to be, the next idol winner? Who knows? Let's share information with them and see what they can give us back.
Kind of like they're traveling between the different dimensions, the layers, and it's quite crazy because when I first bought the place, they said they knew I was coming.
Yes.
And they called my name out. We have so many recordings. When I first bought the jail, the voices were loud. They would radiate through the building calling out my name. And I'd be like, it was so weird. And they said they knew I was coming. And before I even knew I was coming.
That's unnerving. That's very unnerving.
It's like, okay, I guess I'm supposed to be here. All right, that's fabulous. So what would you say is your most favorite piece of equipment that you use?
Right now, my favorite is using an Ovilus.
Uh-huh.
But I'm also doing, I'm using it with headphones, and we've been doing a technique that it's called we're kind of using a modified Gansfeld experiment, to where you're one person is putting themselves in a deprivation state. You're wearing a blindfold, and you have the headphones on connected to the spirit box, and the other person is asking questions, and you should not be able to hear the questions the other person's asking. That way, whatever answers you're getting through the spirit box should be pure, not tainted by your thought or tainted by what you think they're saying. It should be just pure answers. And that has been my favorite experiment that we're doing now, and I think that's my favorite piece of equipment is just being able to actually hear what is out there, and then trying to just write it down, not interpret it to what I think it means.
Right. Yeah, I have reservations about doing the deprivation for myself. Now, would I observe you do it? I would. Would I observe someone else do it? I would. I don't think I would do it, especially after what happened to Jeff at the jail. Because he's law enforcement.
Yes.
Also. So it's like, Lori in chat said she's done it. I like to have control, so I'm just gonna put it out there, and I don't know if I could let myself go to such a vulnerable state. You know what I mean? Because you're vulnerable.
Yes, you are. Yes.
And I don't know. I'm a tough guy. I don't know. I have a hard time. I have a hard time doing that. uh, other people have done it at the jail and got some great things. And Jeff's experience was a little unnerving, and that's exactly why I wouldn't want to do it, because I think he might have been in some kind of trouble if you hadn't have been there, you know?
Yes.
He was overtaken by whatever was communicating through him in the basement, folks, and it took Melodie. You can tell him about the experience, Melodie.
We were down near where Nancy's space is, for lack of a better way of describing it, and Jeff,
in the tunnels.
And Jeff was in the hole, and I was in the tunnel, and I was asking questions, and he was answering them, and then all of a sudden he would answer a question and then say something else in a different voice. And when he first did it, I thought, he's playing with me. And
right.
I said, Jeff, what's going on? And he kind of started having a conversation with himself in two different voices, his own and a very deep male voice. And I got up and walked over to where he's at, and I said, okay, stop playing with me. You're starting to scare me. And he just looked at me, and it was like he was looking right through me. And that was when I thought, uh-oh, I think I need some help. And so I called back to base and said, hey, can somebody come down here? Because I think we have a problem. And Rob came down. Rob is my husband, and he came down, and we got Jeff out of the hole, and we got him upstairs. And once we got him away from there, he kind of came back to, and it was almost like you said, it was like he was in a trance, and he didn't want to believe us that he was talking in two voices. And we played back the recorder, and he was listening, and he's like, that's not me. We're going, yeah, that was you. I've been on
it's like he missed, it's like he didn't have a recollection of it even.
No, and I just saw him last Friday night, and he said, I still don't believe that was me. He said, I've listened to the recording again, and I know that that's me, and I know what you guys said, but he said, I still, it's like I just don't remember that happening. And he said, I'm glad you were there for me. So
did that make him like, oh, I don't know if I want to go back there,
No, he wants to go back because he thinks he's got to go back and tell this spirit, look, I'm in charge, not you.
Right. Because I mean, you were having a private investigation at the jail, and then you came and got me and let me listen to this, and I'm like, holy crap. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know. I'm like, I don't even know what to say about that. And it's the first time that I have had that happen to somebody there, Yeah,
and I think now I think we both are under the impression that it's not a negative spirit. I think it's just somebody that's down there that has something that they want to say, and they're looking for the right person that they can get that out, that somebody can tell their story for them.
Then maybe we need to bring him back. And we'll be like, ready for round 2?
Yes, but this time he's not going in the hole. He's staying out in the hallway.
Right. Well, we are coming to the end of the show, and I want to thank you, Melodie, for being on here tonight. It's been so fascinating talking more in depth about some of the techniques and some of the things that you do and some of the skills that you have. And does your group have a Facebook page or anything where people could look you up and message you?
Yes, Michiana Paranormal Investigations is our Facebook page. We also have YouTube. If you go in and look for Michiana Paranormal Investigations, we have some of our YouTube videos out there of some of the investigations that we've done. And we'd love to have you check us out.
Yes, so find them. If you're having problems, they do residentials. They help folks out that way. And as always, if you missed the first part of the show, you can find us, listen to the full show archive on Spreaker, Google Play, iTunes, iHeart, anywhere you have a subscription. By the way, we're there. I'm sure we're there. And I want to thank everybody for taking time out of your busy schedule to listen to this live broadcast. And I wish everybody to have a great evening and a fantastic weekend. Good night, friends.
Good night.